So in this video, I'm going to show you how to connect Retell AI to cow.com so you can create a booking agent that works. Reason I'm doing this is because first time I tried to connect cow.com in Retell, I ran into loads of issues and it didn't work. And I finally got it working and realized what I was doing wrong. So I'll show you how to do this so you hopefully don't run into quite as many issues as I did. So first I'm going to show you how to do this with a single prompt agent, keeping it nice and simple. Then we'll build it in a conversational flow. So let's create an agent and we're going to go single prompt agent. So we'll start from blank and I'm going to drop in a prompt on the left. Now there's a few things that I'm doing here that are fairly important. First thing I'm doing is giving it a little bit of JSON. This is telling it the format that cow.com is expecting to receive the booking. Turns out this is fairly important. If you don't do this, then the agent is going to try and send that information to cow.com in various different ways. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. The other thing that is quite important here for getting it to work with cow.com is I'm telling it not to send or ask the caller for their email address. Just use my dummy email address instead. So you can see here, just silently use marcus@test.com. Obviously you could change that to email address you're happy to use. Fairly important. Third thing that is important is we are giving it the current time. This is crucial because if someone on the call says, I want to book a round of golf on Friday, the agent needs to know what today's date is to know what Friday means and how to translate that relative date into an absolute date. So we're giving it the current time and we're also telling it explicitly to convert relative dates into absolute dates. I think that is all the kind of fairly important stuff. You can read this prompt if you want to see what else is going on, but those are kind of three of the fairly important things that before I did that, I was getting patchy results. After I did that, I was starting to get a bit more consistency. Now let's talk about functions and actually connect cow.com. So we connect cow.com using a function. So Retell have pre-built functions for cow.com. We can check availability and book on the calendar. So how you do this is you just click into this and you need two things, the API key and the event type ID. We'll talk about Timezone in a moment as well. So to get your API key, let's go in cow.com. You can create a free account in cow.com and then you go to settings, hit API keys, and you're just going to create a new one. Pro tip here is to copy and paste this or save it somewhere because once you've got it, you can't see it again, which is why I've got about 5 API keys just from this morning. So we'll hit save, copy that, and then we'll go back into Retell. We'll pop that in here. For now, I'm just going to put a dummy event ID. I'm going to create my function for booking just while I've got the API key copied into my clipboard. So we'll do that. Now we're going to go and get the event type IDs. So to get the event type IDs, you go to your event types. You can see I've got 9 hole booking, 18 hole booking. You click into this and you just get this number from the URL. So we're going to copy that and we're going to stick that here, save that, and then we'll go and do the exact same thing on the check calendar availability. Now, time zone, you need to make sure that this all lines up across your Retell and cow.com account. So in my case, I'm going to say Europe, London is my time zone. Otherwise, you're going to get weird behavior where it says there are appointments available at 1 a.m. in the morning. So we've set that as Europe, London here. And to check this matches the time zone in your cow.com account, you can go to the event type, click on here, click availability, and in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the time zone that cow.com is using. One last thing you can consider doing is telling your agent the time zone to use here. So you can see I've given it Europe, London. So now we've got our voice AI agent is prompted to use that time zone. The cow.com function is using it, and we know the cow.com calendar is set to time zone. Providing those 3 things all match up, you shouldn't get too much weird behavior. So we'll hit save and we'll just give that a quick test. I'm not going to test audio because that's going to use more credits. One thing to note, I have noticed in Retell AI sometimes when you test your agent via chat, it sometimes doesn't call functions quite as consistently as if you do it via audio. I find that happens more often when building in the conversational flow rather than single prompt editors. So I'm expecting this should work when we test this via chat. But if it doesn't, it's possible that it's working. It just doesn't always work well with test chat. Another thing you can do if you're noticing that is the case is you can click these curly brackets here and you can set some mock data for your custom functions. But personally, I'd rather not do that and make sure it's actually working with live real data. So we'll hit manual chat and say, I want to book a round of golf. And hopefully this should walk through the flow. So it's asking me a load of questions, 9 holes, 2 people, visitor, and Friday at 1 p.m. Okay, so it needs my name and my phone number. So hopefully now what we should see is it's invoking the tool, so it's checking the availability. So it says 1 p.m. on Friday is fully booked, but there's available tee times at 2 p.m., 5 p.m. So this is great. We can see that it's using this function correctly. Now, if we tell it, let's go for 2 p.m., hopefully now we should see that it invokes the book appointment calendar tool and gets that added to the calendar. Here we go. So it's invoking that. Looks like there was an issue booking it. Either you've already a booking out time or there's a conflict. Okay, so it's found a conflict on my actual calendar, not this one. So what I'm going to do is just delete this booking so it gives us a free window, and we're going to try again. Let's try that. Okay, so 1 p.m. is fully booked. Okay, let's go 2 p.m. So it's booked that in, 9 holes on Friday, 2 p.m., 2 visitors. Look forward to seeing you. Perfect. So let's go to cal.com, make sure that's actually booked that in. That looks good to me. Okay, so that's how you do it with a single prompt agent. Now let's jump over and do the exact same thing, but in a conversational flow agent. So if you jump in here, we've got our welcome node. We're just going to change this to Oakwood Park Golf Club. How can I help? And we're going to set a transition to user wants to make a booking for a tee time. Now we're going to connect that to another conversation node, and we're going to essentially enter the same prompt that we had for our single prompt agent. You can see here we've got the caller wants to make a booking, ask for their preferred date and time for the tee time booking, run check calendar availability function, which we're going to connect in a moment, to find a suitable time. If the time they've requested is unavailable, provide some alternatives. Once suitable time is confirmed, gather their full name, whether they want to do 9 or 18 holes, players, phone number to reach them for the booking. We're making the booking, and then we've got all that same stuff on how to format it and to use the dummy email. So next we'll add a couple of functions. So we're going to add the check calendar availability. Do exactly the same as what we did earlier, stick our API key and event type ID. I didn't follow my own advice. I didn't copy my API key, so I'm going to have to go through that again. And we're going to add that other function for booking on the calendar. Again, we'll just dummy data, and then we'll get our event type ID. Again, we get that from the URL just like that. Then we bosh that in there. Change time zone, Europe/London. Do the same with this one. Recommend double checking these, just click back into them and particularly make sure that the time zone's been set. There's been a few times where I've chased my tail with errors and realized that it just didn't update the time zone, and that's the reason why it's had calendar conflicts. So make sure that's all looking good. Now, if we add these in like this, connect him up here, that should be good to go. So now we're going to hook him up from here to here. So now we're going to say, welcome to the golf club, and what can I help with? We're going to say we want to book a tee time. Then it's going to work through these steps. It's going to check availability, make a booking, and then we want to have a route here that says, if the booking is successful, we're then going to tell the caller that it's been successful. So tell the caller the booking has been made, and ask if there's anything else that we can help with. If there's nothing else needed, then we're going to politely end the call. We'll hook him up like that. And so I'm just creating the happy path. Really all I care about for this demo is that it's going to check the availability and it's going to book the appointment and then kind of send us through this route. If we were building something in production, we need to add lots of edge cases and other stuff, but really this is just about getting these two functions working. So let's try testing our agent and just see where we are at.
Oakwood Park Golf Club, how can I help?
I'd like to book a tee time on Friday at 3 p.m.
Great, you'd like to book a tee time this Friday at 3 p.m.? Can I just confirm, did you mean this coming Friday, December 12th?
Yes.
Let me check if we have a tea time available for you this Friday at 3 p.m. It looks like 3 p.m. on Friday is fully booked, but we do have some other times available. On Friday, we have slots from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Or if you're open to Thursday, there are times available from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Would you like to pick one of those options?
Let's go 10 a.m. on Friday.
Perfect. Booking you for 10 a.m. this Friday. Could I get your full name, how many players will be in your group, whether you'd like to play 9 or 18 holes, and a phone number to reach you?
Yeah, it's Marcus, 2 people, 9 holes, and my phone number is 0123456789110.
Great. You're booked in for Friday at 10 a.m. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Okay, let's go to cal.com and see if that actually worked. It sounded good. There we go. So we can see that that booking has been made and that's all worked. So that's how you connect Retell AI to cal.com. Any questions, drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, if you're still considering whether or not to use Retell AI for your voice agents, a few things you can do. voiceai.guide, this is a site that I built. You can enter in your call volume, what you're trying to build, any specifics that you need. It's going to compare the different voice AI platforms and work out which is most affordable for you. And also, if you want to learn a bit more about Retell AI, I recently ran a ton of tests on their platform looking at things like latency and compared them head to head against Vapi and Simflow. You can watch that video here. See you there.